It's first down, Giants, close to the Eagle 48-yard line. McNeil is to the left this time. Tarkenton, great pressure from Rosevich, unloads to Fredrickson. And Tucker fumbles. And it's recovered by Herman inside the 20-yard line.
Well, hello. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. And welcome to the Gridiron. And before we get started, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone out there who's been watching my videos. Thank you. If you give this video a thumbs up or maybe leave a comment below or possibly share this video, it would mean just so much to me. But just, at least, anyway, just thank you so much for just taking time out of your day to check out this video. Thank you. All right, well, Graham Gano, just starting to, setting records with the Giants, not NFL records, but he's starting to chisel his way at some of the Giant records that they're in the record books. All right, now he's only played 25 games, so basically a year and a half for the Giants. Okay, and he's already chiseled his way into a few different records in the Giants record books. He's kicked 53 field goal attempts, and 53 field goal attempts, only 3 of his kicks have been Gano good. You see what I did there? Gano good, good, no good. No. Anyway, he's made 50 out of 53 so far. That's phenomenal. 94.3%. Okay, so that's the best in team history with a minimum of 50 kicks. Josh Brown, all right, it was number one. He was 91.7%, because he was with us from 2013 to 2016. He was a real good kicker, but then he had the domestic violence problem. I think he was beating up his wife or whatever. What a frickin' loser. But the loser could kick a football. It's good with the field goals, but I'm glad, we let him go. I don't think he ever came back in the league, thank goodness, because he's a piece of trash, especially if he hits a woman. But he was the Giants right at 91.7. I mean, you're kicking over 90% field goals. I mean, that's pretty impressive. And when he was with us for those 4 years, he was pretty doggone good. Graham Gano, 94.3. Okay, it's second in the league, okay, since the beginning of 2020, okay? It's hard to believe. 94.3, second. Atlanta's, okay, Young Ho Koo is 94.4. But Graham Gano is 50 of 53. Young Ho Koo is 51 of 54. So if Graham Gano's next field goal, if he kicks it and makes it, he'll be 51 out of 54. So he'll be tied. So it's not like he's missed more. It's just that Young Ho Koo has one more field goal opportunity in that period of time. Okay, so that's the only reason why he's second behind him. But of course, we all remember Young Ho Koo. He's the one that kicked the game-winning field goal for the Falcons. In week 3, we let the Falcons hang around, and boom, they beat us. Absolutely pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. Anyway, Graham Gano is the third kicker to make at least 50 of his first 53 field goal attempts with one team. Okay, there's 3 of them. Okay, Graham Gano with the Giants, Josh Lambo with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and Robbie Gould with the 49ers. Okay, so, he's only one of 3 guys. 50 out of 53. I mean, that's really good. I mean, the 2 kicks he had this year that he missed, one was in the Cowboy game. It was a long one. It was over 50 yards. The other one, thankfully it didn't cost us, was against the Saints when we went to overtime. Now, if the Saints wind up winning 24-21, Graham Gano, I think it was like a 35-yarder he missed. He missed a real short one. So thankfully it didn't come back to bite us. But so as we got the game in overtime, and we wound up winning in overtime. So thankfully. But so he's only missed 2 this year. He only missed 1 all last year. All right, so he's doing a phenomenal job. And Graham Gano earlier this year kicked his 10th field goal with the Giants of 50-plus yards. Okay, breaking the Giants' old record held by Joe Danello. All right. Joe Danello had 9 field goals successful for the Giants. All right. He's held that mark since 1982. The thing is Joe Danello 28 tries to make 9 of 50-plus yards. Okay, so I mean Joe Danello, he had a nice leg. He had a good strong leg. It just it wasn't always that accurate. But so it took Joe Danello. He was 1 out of every 3 from 50-plus yards he made. Graham Gano's a lot better than that. Then it just goes to show you. I mean, Joe Danello started with the Giants in '76. The year before that, 1975, the Giants had George Hunt, who I believe was the last final field goal kicker in Giants history to kick the ball straight on. All right. Actually, it's amazing. Bill Orangebarger, the coach of the Giants in '75, actually had to contact him and talk him out of retirement. And if that year with the Giants, he was 6 out of 11 on field goals. He was 54.5% field goal. And we had to talk him out of retirement to kick 54% field goal. I mean, and he missed 5 extra points. He was 24 out of 29 on extra points. And back then, extra points was at the 2-yard line. It was a 19-yard field goal. Brought it to 2, mark back 7 yards, kick it from the 9 at the goalpost or at the end of the back of the end zone. So it's a 19-yard field goal, and somehow he missed 5. He missed. So basically, he made 5 out of every 6 extra point attempts, and we had to talk him out of retirement for that. It just goes to show you is that because back then, you had to. Get guys out of retirement to have them kick. I mean, now you got. I mean, if you make some phone calls, you're gonna have 300-400 guys kicking field goals for you. I mean, on the practice squad. It's just simply amazing. They come out of the woodworks now. I mean, but so he's also has the franchise record. All right, of 5 50-yard field goals in a season. All right, he also kicked 3 50-yard field goals in a game, okay, which is also a franchise record. All right. As I said before, he's 19 out of 21 this year. All right. So he's at 90.5% for this year. Last year he was 31 out of 32. He was 96.9% field goals. I mean, his 19 field goals this year is second in the NFL. All right. However, he's kind of far down on the points list only because the Giants don't score any touchdowns. So he got some field goal tries, but he doesn't get many extra point tries. But we're very lucky. We got Graham Gano. He's been around surprisingly for a while. So I mean, but the kicker stays healthy and takes care of himself and all. They can kick for a while. So hopefully we'll have Graham Gano and for at least a little while longer, a few more years, I think. I mean, between him and Dixon, the 2 kickers we got, you got to complain about certain things, this, that, and the other thing, but the kickers we got are pretty good. So we got to be very happy about that. And of course, that leads us to the Giants' offense, or just kind of like a little review over their offense over pretty much the first half of the season. Daniel Jones is completing 64.8% of his passes, which would be the highest completion percentage that he's ever had. Right, he's had 2,059 yards. All right, 9 games. So at the rate he's going, he would have right around 4,000 yards passing. He has 8 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. Last year he had 10 interceptions. This year he has 5. So I mean, at the pace that he's on this year, he'll probably have about 9 or 10 interceptions. But then again, there's an extra game this year. His adjusted net yards per pass attempt, it's 5.96, which is not super spectacular. It's 22nd in the league. All right, so his quarterback rating, all right, is a 45.4. 45.4, which is 23rd in the NFL, which is behind Jalen Hurts, Mac Daddy Jones. He's behind Teddy Bridgewater. He's behind Jimmy Garoppolo. So it's not super spectacular, but his adjusted net yards per pass attempt at 5.9. I mean, a lot of that's because, you know, he's throwing sometimes the third string wide receivers out there. You know, the pass protection isn't always the greatest. We're missing our starting center. We're missing our starting left tackle. We're missing our starting left guard. Sometimes you get Nate Solder over there, right tackle. He's like a revolving door. I mean, just put a good move on him, and you're past him, and you're all on top of, you know. So Daniel Jones still has to do better with the pocket presence, but if he had more help, he would be doing better. The Russian attacker, we're averaging 95.9 yards per game, which is 24th in the league. And actually, it was far worse than that, but we had the good game against the Raiders, or else it would be far worse than 95.9. We're averaging only 3.9 yards per rush attempt. Okay, there's only 6 teams in the NFL that are worse than us. All right, on inside and outside zone plays, right, running zone plays, we're 21st in the league. On all other running plays, draws and what have you, we're 30th in the league. Okay. Then of course, then you go to the IR list. All right, we have 17. One time either the guys are on the IR for the whole season or been on the IR, like Aaron Robinson and Ellerson Smith. They were on the IR, but then they came off and now they're playing. But we've had 17 guys on the IR at one time or another or whatever. Okay, and that's the most in the NFL. Kind of tough to win when you got a lot of guys on the injured reserve. Last year we averaged 17.5 points per game, which was 31st. This year we're a little bit better. We're up to 19.9 yards per game, okay, which is 24th. All right. Last year we averaged 299 yards per game, which was 31st. This year we're at 334 yards per game, which is 21st. So we got better. Now you got to figure, it's like last year, we were worse with yards and points and all. But one thing you got to kind of think about is that, Saquon wasn't there. We didn't have the greatest weapons and all. But the one thing was our offensive line was the guys in there were relatively consistent. Now, Andrew Thomas had a problem. I think it was his foot or his ankle, which bothered him all year, which, certainly hurt him. But he was in there. Then you had Kevin Zeitler, the right guard. He was in there. Then you had Nick Gates, the center. He was in there. Then you had Will Hernandez and Shane Lemieux. Those two guys were the left guard. Okay, so you maybe had paired, a couple guys at the right tackle. But for the most part, you had Andrew Thomas, left guard. You had Lemieux and Hernandez. Center, you had Gates, and you had Zeitler. So you had the same pretty much guys on the offensive line for the most part. Okay, this year after 9 games, I believe we're up to 11 guys we've had so far on the offensive line. Okay, we're only halfway through the season, so we could wind up with 13, 14, maybe 15 different guys in the way we're going. Who knows? It's really tough to get a unit together when you have that many different guys playing. His rookie season, Daniel Jones. Okay, his touchdown percentage with Pat Shurmur calling plays. Okay, he threw a touchdown pass on 5.2% of his passes. Basically, 1 out of every 20 throws was a touchdown. That's pretty good. You can't complain whatsoever about that. Okay. Last year, all right, he went down to 2.5%. It's basically like half of what he did. He only had 11 touchdowns last year. This year, okay, it's still pretty bad, but this is all with Jason Garrett calling plays. This year, he's thrown touchdown passes on 2.7% of his plays. So that's still half of what he did when Pat Shurmur was calling the plays. All right, now basically when Pat Shurmur was calling plays, we didn't have much of an offensive line. right? Didn't even have Andrew Thomas in there, okay? So you got to start looking at, is it, play calling? Is it Jason Garrett? Sometimes you also got to look at, like, Jason Garrett's calling plays based on what he has in there. If we can't protect, he can't do nothing about the offensive line. He's not the offensive line coach. If we can't protect him, he's got to do what he can. Like against the Raiders, we couldn't have Daniel Jones stand in the pocket for an hour and a half trying to throw balls down. It wasn't going to happen. It had to be real quick throws, or we had to run the ball. That's what we did. So, but at least we didn't have any interceptions this last week. Daniel Jones got sacked only. He's been sacked 19 times this year, which is the 10th most. Okay, but it's better than what it was last year. Okay, last year, I think it was 45 times last year. So it's come down. Okay, with the revolving door we have at some of these line positions, the sacks have come down. That certainly is a plus. Okay, now our receivers, rank in the top 5, which is not good, with a drop percentage. Once again, 6.4%. Okay. According to Pro Football Focus, the Giants receivers have dropped 13.7% of Daniel Jones's throws when he was under pressure. Okay. And when he's under pressure and he's got to unload the ball, you got to help him out. And 13.7%, absolutely pathetic, right? Of course, then you got, as I said, you got all the injuries, right? So, as I said, we got Shane Lemieux, gone. All right, you got Nick Gates, gone. Andrew Thomas has been on IR. He's missed. Hopefully he'll come back for the Tampa Bay game, all right? Wide receivers, you got Dante Pettis and C.J. Board, gone. Levine Toilolo, gone. Okay, not to mention Saquon has missed time. John Ross has missed time. Evan Ingram's missed time. Kenny Galladay's missed time. Sterling Shepard missed time. Gary Brightwell missed this past game. Okay, Kadarius Toney, Darius Slayton, they've all missed time. Okay, so basically, the only 3 guys, that we've had that played in all 9 games is backup Elijah Penny, backup Kyle Rudolph, backup Caden Smith, who's had a problem with his knee all year long. Those are the only 3 guys, that we've had in all 9 games. Go to any team that has a good record, and I guarantee you look at between their running back, their tight end, their wide receivers, you'll have at least 1 or 2 of them, if not 3 or 4, whatever, that have been in every game, all 8 or 9 games. The only ones we've had have been backups. We got like a 3rd string running back, Elijah Penny, 3rd string tight end, and our backup tight end. Right? Those are the only 3 guys we've had who haven't missed any time. Good luck trying to win a football game, huh? Now we've had 10 different guys run the ball so far, which in one way is good. Because I know you got the jet sweep and stuff like that, so I get it. So that's maybe not so horrible, because basically, Saquon's missed a lot of time again. But, you've had Devontae Booker running the ball majority of the time, but we've had 10 different guys run the ball. We've also had 16 different guys catch passes, which in one respect is good. It's another respect is bad. It's bad because we've had so many guys hurt. You got, Colin Johnson in there. We've had, Dante Pettis in there, C.J. Board. These guys, it's like, 2nd, 3rd string wide receivers in there catching balls all the time. That's why we've had 16 different guys catch passes. It's tough. It's tough. Especially it's so much because the talent levels come down. It's also the talent levels come down, but also Daniel Jones is not, in practice he's working with the 1st stringers. So, he doesn't get always a lot of time, to practice throwing the ball to Colin Johnson. They don't have the, you got some, it's timing. It's not like, just run a button hook and I'll hit you. Run a little 5 and out. I got you. You know what I mean? You get there, you get in your break, you got to run off to the side, and I'll stand there in a nice clean pocket, and I'll just throw you I'll just lob it to you, you catch it, and you go. No, I mean, this is timing, and if you don't have time to practice, you're in trouble, okay? It's tough. Now, also the guys, the Giants, okay, I was looking on Pro Football Reference. I was looking at the injury reports and all. The Giants have had 34 guys so far this year, either on IR or listed somewhere on the weekly injury report as far as like doubtful or questionable or out, okay, or just on the IR, okay. 34 guys. Last year, they had 42 all last year. But out of the 42 all last year, I know Sam Beal, Nate Solder, that was COVID. That's why they didn't play. I know, I can't remember who. I didn't spend a lot of time looking back. But I know there was like one or two other guys that were on that list from COVID. So the Giants had like about 38 guys on IR or injured, doubtful, questionable all last year in 16 games. So far, in 9 games this year, we are up to 34 already, okay? So then what I did was I went and I started looking on Pro Football Reference, okay, at other teams who were good, okay, just for shits and giggles to see what theirs were, okay. So I saw some pretty interesting stuff here, okay. I got it written down here, like the Steelers. I just looked at some teams who had some winning records, okay. The Steelers are 5-3, okay. The Giants had 34 guys so far on IR, doubtful, out, questionable, and all that. Okay, Giants have 34. The Steelers have 19. All right, the Giants have 34. The 5-3 Los Angeles Chargers have 15. The Giants have 34. The Green Bay Packers, 7-2 Green Bay Packers, have 22. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who the Giants are going to be playing, the defending Super Bowl champions. Giants have 34. Tampa Bay Buccaneers have 19. The Saints, okay, they have 26, okay, but they're just above 500. They're not something super spectacular. They only have a good. They got Cam Newton coming. Oh no, they don't have Cam Newton. The Panthers. I'm sorry, got Cam Newton. They got Trevor Siemian. I don't know how far they're going to go with Trevor Siemian, but they got 26, okay? But they have a winning record, and they have less injuries than the Giants do. The Bills, okay? The Giants have 34. The Bills have 16. And out of those 16, 8 of those 16 are guys who were just kind of questionable for one game. That's all. It wasn't like they were, out or doubtful or anything. 8 guys who were just questionable, which is like the lowest, the least some injury you can worry about as far as an injury point. A little questionable. If you're doubtful, you're out. That's not good. Questionable, it means you're probably going to play. That 8 guys with one game. Unbelievable. And then you got the Cowboys. Okay, they're starting to get a little banged up. They're up to 26. Giants have 34. Cowboys got 26. Now, what happened here? They're starting to get a little banged up. A little calf injury with Dak Prescott. A little this, a little that, right? What happened this past week? Denver went in there, kicked the living crap out of them. Denver was up 30-0. If it wasn't for 2 absolute freaking garbage time touchdowns, the Denver Broncos would have beaten them 30-0 in Dallas. And the Cowboys were injured. See how that works out? Last year, the Cowboys were 6-10. They had 41 guys who were on IR, injured out, or whatever like that. Injuries matter. But my favorite of all, of course, is the Los Angeles Rams. Giants have 34. The Rams have 13. Injuries matter. Injuries are absolutely huge. It's kind of tough to, you might as well put me on the field. How can you really judge anything, when, you got injuries to the running backs, injuries to the tight ends, injuries to the wide receivers, injuries to the offensive line. It's tough. The only one that's really been pretty much consistent so far has been Daniel Jones. He only missed, the half of the game because he got knocked out against the Cowboys. Other than that, he's been in there pretty much all the time. But I mean, the Giants' offense still is a work in progress. But what they really need is some healthy guys. Get some healthy guys. I know I'm asking for a lot, but if we had some healthy guys in there a little more often, I think you'll start seeing a little bit better production. Well, as always, guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. You guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo!